incredibly well, but not all things. And there's actually a name for this thing, this I don't know if I'm pronouncing this correctly, but hyperthymestic syndrome, or also called HSAM. People with this can remember a vast number of life experiences in vivid detail. For instance, they can describe every single time they've ever been to a Target store, literally every single time. But that doesn't mean they can remember where they put their keys. So people think they want a photographic memory, as in to acquire more knowledge or hang on to more information, be able to be, a more effective student. But think about it. You would want to be able to forget all, for instance, the petty resentments, that happened over the years. You do not want to remember in great detail every traumatic experience you've ever had. That would not be good. So then it leads to, like, what is too much emotional memory? PTSD, right? People who have terrifying memories that remain embedded in the brain. Dr. Small says, like shrapnel. And this is all part of a syndrome called brain on fire. Brain on fire would include, like, people who are OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, who keep thinking, wait, did I shut the stove off? Did I shut the stove off? I have to go home. Did I remember to lock the door? Maybe I didn't. And then that thought just keeps firing over and over and over again. And phobias are that way, anxiety disorders. So all of that is part of this category of brain on fire. The opposite is brain on ice. And that would be these diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's and other forms of dementia, where your neural networks are disrupted and then they gradually degrade over time. And you can't make the connections. You can't remember the things that you want to remember. So all very interesting. I was in a horrible accident back in 2012, and car accident. I was a pedestrian and I was hit by a car. And I kept flashing back to the moments of the accident and being in the hospital and lying on the street and the ambulance and all of that. And I wanted to get those bad memories out of my brain. And I ended up doing a particular kind of therapy. And there are many different therapies to help with that sort of thing. And they probably work well for different people in different times. I did somatic therapy and it was super helpful. But I know EMDR is great. Well, somatic therapy it helps to, what happens is these bad memories and trauma can lodge in the body. So in my very first session, the therapist I had to kind of go back into the moment of the accident, and she wanted me to turn my head to the right and see the car coming. I couldn't move my head. I couldn't move my neck to the right. There was nothing wrong with my neck. This was absolutely graphic example of how trauma can lodge in the body. And so literally by the end of that session, she had me moving my neck. So it sold me on the process right off the bat. And then I literally went for 9 sessions and really have not been haunted by memories of the accident ever since. So really interesting. But for a more kind of global approach, Dr. Small, my forgetting expert or my remembering expert, anyway, he says to break these kinds of traumatic memories, it's really key to seek friendship and love, to stay social, and to engage with life. It's all very obvious stuff, but it actually breaks those neural connections and allows you to, lose negative memories and replace them with other kinds of stimulus that allows you to get past getting caught in bad memories. It's why COVID's been bad for so many people, among other reasons, is because we've been so socially isolated. So people haven't been able to make those new neural pathways. So it's reinforced a lot of the negative stuff. So the other thing that's empowering is that you can consciously decide to let go of grudges. Go figure, right? You can consciously train your brain to not focus on disappointments, because what we tell ourselves reinforces thoughts. And And that's what haunts us. So like the more we dwell on negative memories, the stronger the neural connections become around them.
Yeah, I definitely. Right? Oh, yeah. I mean, I definitely relate to that. I'm someone who's very good at, when there's a conflict, making everything better in the moment with the other person as quickly as possible. I don't want to be in conflict. But when it's just me and I'm on my own, holding on to it, I think the main thing that has taught me to move on from bad feelings and truly forget is marriage, because it is so much better to be in a marriage with someone where when things come up, and they do constantly, because that's what marriage is. It's doing life with someone. Things are going to come up all the time. And it's the fastest I've ever been able to truly get over something. And I think it really lines up with what you're saying, which is the idea that you really just have to stop dwelling on it, because the dwelling, I can totally work myself up about something that I wasn't previously upset about if I give myself a little time alone with it.
Absolutely. We've always been told, or I certainly was, forgive and forget. In actuality, it's the reverse. It's forget so that you can forgive. Because if you hang on to the memory, it makes it really hard to forgive. But if you can just say, all right, enough, drop it, just really drop it and move on, then you can forgive, you can move on. You just like sort of clean the slate so that you can have a whole new annoyance or disappointment to deal with, right? Because inevitably they will be there. It's been such a pleasure talking to you about forgetting today, Gabi.
Always. I love talking to you. We would love to hear from you if you have any ideas. You can email us at gabiandjoanne@gmail.com. That's GABIANDJOANNE@gmail.com.
And we look forward to you joining us for future episodes of All the F Words. Remember to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
See you next time.